let me know if everybody can see the slide. Move this over. And I'll have the chat up here. So today I'm going to get started here, and today I'm going to actually talk about last week's options trade. So today's topic is really how you can trade from home and work for yourself, but you can do options, you can do day trades, and I thought, because I have so much interest in the options, that I would discuss the options from last week. So when I say last week, I mean the expiration date of 11/15. I'm going to go over all the trades we did last week. Okay, Tron, I know you're on the letter. I see some people that are new, some people that have been following me. Tron's trading with me. And I trade with an advanced trader risk. So I just want to put that out there. You can take one contract. You can trade with a smaller risk than I use. You can trade with a bigger risk than I use, okay? The purpose of this is to show you just a small snapshot of 1 week of the 52 weeks in a year that you could be trading with me and the results that you can get. And again, the amount of money you make will vary based on your risk, but how well you do as far as number of winners, losers, return on investment, and whether you're profitable or not really is nothing to do with the amount of contracts that you take. Because if I call a trade that works, then everyone should make money, okay? Unless you screw it up. So any questions as we go along, plop it in the room. I'm doing this lecture today to talk about gaps, to talk about options, and to talk because the last class of the year, I teach my method in a class, is December 7th and 8th. It's coming up in 3 weeks or something. So it's hard to believe this year has gone so fast. It's actually less than 3 weeks. I can't even believe it. Next week's Thanksgiving. 9 days away is Thanksgiving, and this year has just flown by. So it's been a really, really, really interesting year between the election and interest rates and so many other things to trade. And for those of you that don't know, again, what I do, I trade gaps, which we'll talk about in a minute. So the last week's results, and again, if you have questions, plop in the room. I see some people coming in late. Last week's options, 73% win ratio. Average return on investment was 168%. That includes the losers. And results for last week with an average risk of about $8,000 per trade is $144,400. This is just 1 week of trades. Okay. So again, we're going to go over it. And if you have questions, you can email me. You can ask me now. You can call me on the phone, 929-3200-GAP. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or Skype. And again, emailing me is fine too after the fact. So, like I said, it's almost 2025. This year has flown by. I think, I'm not really a person that has, people do New Year's resolutions in January, whatever, February. Not really a resolution kind of person. I'm more like a goal-oriented person. Like I have goals for myself. And I really think it's important to have goals and start thinking about those goals now. It's not too early, actually, to think about your goals for 2025. Because, again, we all get busy. It's the holidays, trying to finish up work with the end of the year. Start thinking now where you want to be January 1st with your trading. Start thinking about what you want to accomplish and where you want to be fast forward a year from now. So today is November 19th. November 19th, 2025. Where do you want to be with your trading? Do you want to be the same place? Do you want to be in a better place? Certainly don't want to be in a worse place. Now, what will be a worse place? Continuing to do the same thing you're doing. If you're not making money or if you're losing, you could be in a worse place. And again, if you're doing the same thing, you are in a worse place because you're not getting anywhere. Wasting time is not productive, okay? And I find, again, that a lot of people do waste time with trading because people are just inundated with so many different programs out there. And I know this because obviously I go to events and I talk to people about what I do. And there's just so many different things out there that people are doing. And then people are trying to narrow it down and make a decision. Should I do Melissa's program? Should I do another program? What should I do? I had a gentleman email me. Actually, I don't see him here tonight. He was going to sign up last year, 2023, a year ago, and he didn't. And he did this program, that program. He did a couple different programs, uh, and he's still nowhere farther along. I don't know why he didn't join a year ago. I don't know. So, it's something that I think once you start on the path to trading and you realize that there's so much out there and then you're trying to narrow it down, you almost can get stressed about it trying to decide what to do. I'm a very intuitive person. I make decisions lots of times based on my intuition and instinct. I trust my intuition and I trust myself and I trust my decisions. I think a lot of people unfortunately don't, but you've got to get in touch with your intuition and that inner voice inside of you that tells you that, oh, I think this person knows what she's talking about, that being me, or maybe this is something I want to do. And then you move forward with trust. And I think that's something that a lot of people need to hone in on, that intuition and make decisions based on that. Because you're never going to know what the future holds if you don't jump in and leap in and start trading. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about trading for a living. Is this for you? I do short-term options. I do the weeklies that expire Friday. That's usually what I do. Again, next Friday is Black Friday, so I'm not really going to do anything into the Friday of the Black Friday expiration. But in general, I do weekly options and I do active day trades. So we did Disney as a day trade today. A day trade is a trade that you take on margin. I'm not talking about any today, but that's a fast trade. So trading for a living is what I call chunking it out. You chunk it, chunk it, chunk it, chunk it, chunk it. You take the trade to get it out. And again, whether you do it as a day trade, whether you do an option is totally up to you. Some of the challenges of trading we just talked about, having lots and lots of things all over the place trying to decide what to do. But really, once you get with a good program and stick with it, you should be fine. Again, one of the reasons that I run the room and teach the class and offer, I'm doing a Black Friday special, which we'll talk about at the end. One of the reasons I offer the support system for people in the room and in lectures and classes like this is to help people stay with the program, stay with it, because as you're going along, you're really not going to know what questions you have until you have them and you're doing it. The benefits of trading are enormous. Okay, you can have the kind of quality of life where you don't have to deal with the stress of going and reporting to a boss, going in to deal with traffic every day. If I had to travel and go downtown or work in some office in New York, I'd be on the subway every day. That would be extremely stressful in today's conditions in New York City. I don't have to do that. So again, while there are many benefits to getting to that point where you are successful and you can do it and actually make money and pull money out of the market on a regular basis, takes the time and energy and money that it takes, whatever that ends up being. But in the end, it's totally worth it because after you know how to do it, you know how to do it. Like, I know how to trade, and that's something that no one's ever going to take away from me. And now I know. Did I know when I started out how long it was going to take me to figure it out? No. There was no guarantees. I didn't know, but now I know, and I'll know forever. And that's huge, okay? Because again, the quality of life that you can have by doing this in such a short time every day is something that's wonderful, and especially in today's day and age, like I said, where life can be very stressful, going into work and all the things like that. And again, I see people coming in late. If you have questions, just type it in the room at the bottom. You get down to 2 individual user and you type my name at the bottom if you have questions. Okay? Anyways, it's all about financial freedom. And we know that that is the key to not having to worry where you're going to get money for rent, mortgage, groceries, car. Gas costs so much money still. Hopefully that cost of gasoline will go down under the new administration in 2025. So there's lots of different things that are happening. Interest rates are still very high. Housing prices are still very high. Ultimately, having a lot of money and being wealthy and successful means freedom. You can take time off. You can take vacations. You don't have to work 2 jobs. You don't have to worry about paying your bills. You can go out, buy filet mignon, buy whatever you want, steak. It's not always about luxury items or goods. It's about having a less stressful life and not having to worry, okay? So what do? I trade one strategy based on gaps. It's a strategy that I created when I started trading in 2008. I got into gaps. I'm mostly shorting, although I do go long. Like I said, we went long today. We actually went long Walmart today. So I will go long, but I'm mostly short, okay? And so the class I teach once a month is on shorting. So let's talk about last week's trades. So again, for those of you that are coming in late, I'm going over last week's options. These are not day trades. These are options. If you were in the newsletter, Tron is here. If you're in the newsletter, you would have gotten these trades. Win ratio is 73%. There were 8 winners, 0 break even, 3 losers on 11 trades. These were all with an expiration date 11/15. Again, I'm risking an advanced trader risk. You can risk a beginner trader risk, okay? Average return on investment, this includes the 3 losers, 168%. This is 1 week of options, and this is a good amount of trades. Some weeks we have less, some weeks we have more, okay? This is probably an average week of how many trades we have. And then again, advanced trader profits with an average risk of 8,000 was 144,400 in 1 week. And again, I didn't have time to do beginner. I'll make time later this week to do that, maybe get it up on YouTube for people that want to see a beginner risk. But you can do the math. It's the same strategy. It's the strategy that I teach and trade based on golden gaps. So what do? I get up in the morning and I rate the gap. I determine if the gap's going to continue in the direction of the gap. If it is, I buy a call or I buy a put. It's really that simple. I'm trading momentum in the direction of the gap. Can you buy every gap up? No. Can you short every gap down? No. You have to rate it. This is the meat and potatoes and the crux of what you learn in the class with me. Again, this is the class that I'm teaching December 7th and 8th, the last class of the year. But this really helps give people the conviction to understand it and do it. And again, hold a trade or exit a trade or take the trade at all or even risk this kind of money, which we're talking about, which is a lot, okay? So one of the things I know people talk about options and they love them because they don't have to have a margin account to do options. I get it. And people can open up an options account with $2,000 cash, very small amount of money. They can do 1 contract. I get it. But the fact is that the real benefit of doing options, quite frankly, and we're going to talk about this in these trades from last week, the benefit of doing options really is being able to hold overnight. Because you can hold overnight when you're trading options with a fixed risk. That is something that you can't do with swing trades. And that is something, obviously, I'm not doing with day trades. Okay, when I take a day trade, like I did the Walmart today, I'm in and I'm out. Okay, before 4 o'clock, I'm flat. The benefit of doing options is you can capture overnight moves. Overnight moves. Okay? And the fact is that that is just huge. And that's how you can put together a week like this. Again, any questions? I see people coming in late. If you have questions, you go down to the bottom and type here. Everybody see that with the chat? Okay. All right, let's go over. This is all the trades, the options trades from last week. That's what we're going over right now. Everybody with me? So if you decide to join and you want to do the options, you would get the trade to your email. Comes your email. Comes to your email 9:17 in the morning. Okay, here I sent on, this was Halloween. I sent the IBM 200 puts. Expiration date was, oh, I don't know why I have 11/8 in here. Actually, I threw in the wrong one in here. Sorry about that. There was one for 11/15 too, but it was the same strike. Anyways, it didn't work. So let's go over it. This was a loser. We did another one. We did another 200 that was a different date. So I'm sorry about that. I put the wrong one in here. 1031. Actually, I called this one 1030 for 11:15. So 1030 here. Is everybody with me? I'm going to show you on the chart because the letter in here is incorrect, but I'm going to show you what I called. On this date here, I called the 200s for the 15th. So here's the 15th. The stock rallied here. Do you see it? And this trade lost. This was one of the 3 losers. But I don't have the right letter in here. It was the right strike, wrong date. Can everyone see that? So this trade was one of the trades that did not work. Okay? Totally went bust. Now, I don't kill a trade, for example, if it doesn't work. the day that I do it. I will give a trade till the last day. Like I will run it out till bust on the expiration date, which in this case here was the 15th. Here was we did this too. We did the 195s. This was Thursday. This is the correct letter here. The 195 puts expired the 15th. This one did not work either. Why? What happened? Similar. Again, on the 31st here, I called the 195s. It rallied, fell, never got down in here, and never even broke 202. Does everyone see that? So this two IBMs were the two losers for this week. Everybody with me? So again, I will take an amount, and I suggest this to people if you're trading with me. If you want to risk $1,000, you let it ride. You let it ride, win or lose. Because again, this could have pushed back, and the time I called it, I gave it a good chunk of time, and it could have gone. And that has happened before. Then so this one didn't work. That was a loser. Then we did Amazon. We did Amazon on the 5th. Everyone see this here? We did Amazon 200 calls. All right. This was, I called in the middle of the day, 1 o'clock in the afternoon almost. The Amazon 200 calls I called on the 5th. Let's take a look at it. Here. Does everyone see this? So we're on November 5th. Okay. And I called the 200 calls in Amazon, and it went poof, and it went up. Does everyone see it? So this ran up through 200, through 205, and actually through 210. Does everyone see that? So a really nice push up and a rally in Amazon. So again, this was a call, the stock rallied. So we were talking about gaps. I trade momentum and gaps. In the case here of Amazon, again, this was last week with an expiration date of the 15th. This was, the momentum was to the upside. Everybody with me? It actually ended up continuing. So I got out of it, and it actually continued, and it actually went all the way up over 215 there. Like you actually could have made more money in this, but let's look at the trade. So the cost was $380, sold at 12, profit was $20,500 with a risk of $9,500, a 216% return investment. And again, this went, going back to the chart, this actually went more than $15 through the strike. And we were in it before it hit the strike. Okay, because we got in at the 5th here. Right there, everyone see it? So again, you couldn't have screwed this trade up. But again, we were just talking earlier about it. If you're in a trade and you are talking about the benefits of options, the benefits of options is holding trades overnight. Because if you got out of this trade here, yes, you made money on the 5th, but you didn't get this pop. And again, you could have even held it longer than I held it. Any questions about that? Again, I see some people coming in here late. If you have questions, just type it in the room. We're going over last week's options trades. Is everybody with me? Just 1 week, a snapshot of 1 week. So anyways, this was a nice trade. Then we did NVIDIA. Okay. We did the 145 NVIDIA calls. This was on the 6th. Okay, remember the day after the election. In the morning before the open, let's take a look at the chart. The 6th was here. Okay. NVIDIA closed here, gapped up, and we did the calls, and it rallied, boop, and again, ran up through the strike, above the strike, and you're out with profit. Everyone see it? Again, that was a nice trade. Again, what do you have to do? You could watch it, or you could just put a sell order out. Cost was $3, sold it at $5.25, profit was $67.50. It was a nice trade. Return on investment 75%. Again, I'm looking between 50% and 100%. Some trades are way more than that. I don't always know what trade is going to be a big trade or not. you can tell as it's going and how fast it's moving through the strike. For example, this one here, this Amazon, you could really tell that this one was going to be a big one. Do you know what I'm saying? And again, this is all things you'll learn in the class. All things you'll learn in the class. Again, in the class, I'm talking about gaps. I'm talking about momentum. This is a lot of people when they're trading want to do the opposite. People want to do gap fills. Again, do sometimes things reverse? Yes, but I never do the reversal. I probably would rate something that would reverse and say, no, this doesn't rate good, and then I wouldn't do it. Okay? Any questions from anyone at all? Can everybody hear me? Everyone is quiet as mouses today. Hello, is anyone there? Am I talking to myself? Thomas is there. Okay, that's good. I am not talking to myself. Thank God. Thank God. All right, let's talk about the next trade we did. The QQQ 500 calls. This was the day after the election. We went long the market. A nice, solid rally. Again, a nice push up. Okay, so let's look at the date and the strike. So again, I'm going back in time to the 6th. The market closed here, gapped up. Boom, snug as a bug. And we bought the 500 calls in the Qs. And it rallied. Got out. And again, you could have made more in this. You could have held this more. This ran up $15 through the strike. Ridiculous trades. I mean, again, this has been just, such a strong time to trade. Even this week, I mean, everything looks so good. The cost was $7. You could say, well, it's expensive, but again, you could do a farther out strike if you want. You could have done a 502, 503 if you didn't want to spend $7. So one contract would have cost you $700. Again, you could have done like a 505 if you're like, oh, I don't want to spend $7 for one. Again, this was 114% return on investment. This was not the best exit. I don't always get the best exit. I didn't on the Amazon. Okay, I did it. I got in. I got the move. I got out. But again, I held this overnight for the pop. So again, when you're looking to trade with momentum, you're trying to get, ideally, a fat move. Could be on the day. Like I will get out on the day if I get a fat one. But if I don't, then I want to try to get an extension through. So again, cost was $7, sold at $15. Beautiful trade, $9,600. And again, this is in 24 hours. So you take the trade, you can put out an order out. If you can't watch it, or you watch for the targets, which I have in the newsletter, or you put the order out and you have it set to fill you, you could put it at 80%, you could put it at 100%, and then you can check it. You check it before the day's up, you check it in the morning. Then we did the 280 calls in Tesla. This was the 6th. This was the day after. This was completely insane. Again, this one here was on this day. I don't know if anybody remembers this. Again, this was 9:07 in the morning, Wednesday. Okay, we did the 280s. So we did it. And it really didn't go that day. Okay. So again, here's the move. Boop. So again, there was no bad exit here, unless you didn't do it. So again, you could have got out here. You could have got out here. So this was ridiculous. It didn't go $100 through in the money, but it almost did. It was so crazy. So this got over $70 in the money. Even if you screwed this up and didn't even get out here, okay, you still, look how much you were still up here. It ran up over 350. So again, momentum, 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 momentum. And again, the concept which I'm talking about here about holding overnight. This was a little pricey. And I mean, not with the stock, when you look what the stock is priced at, but you could have done a strike. You could have done like the 300 calls. The cost was $13. 7 cost $9,100. Sold at 75. I talked about this in the room. The last time I had options trades that I was doing and I was in where we had, you know, sell prices over 70 or 65. These are some crazy numbers. It's been 5 years. 5 years, 2018, 2019. And we're starting to see that again with some of these things that I'm calling here. It's fabulous, actually. So this was a 477% return on investment, and the profit was $43,400. This is in one trade. And again, if anyone's like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what I should do with it, you can always ask me. But the benefit of being in the live trading room is that I'm talking about these things every day in the room. Every day in the room, I'm talking about these things. What I think about the market. What do I think about this? What do I think about that? And you can always ask me. You can always email me. And I get, if someone's risking maximum 1,000, okay, for example, in a trade, and they don't want to do something that costs $1,300, you could do a higher strike, like I said. You could do a higher strike. Any questions about any of these that I'm talking about at this moment so far? How's everyone doing? It looks simple. I think it is simple because I've been doing this for a long time. Do I have some days where trading's challenging? Sure. Actually, today was challenging. I didn't really like anything today. I wasn't crazy about anything today. I wasn't crazy about Walmart. I did it, and then I didn't get out fast, and then I ended up making more money holding it, but it was a pain in the butt. So, you know, that's pretty much like what a challenging day is, where things don't go exactly the way we want in the moment that you want them. Or if you have to take a loss. Now, I didn't take a loss today, but there are obviously days where I do trades that don't work. We just talked about the IBM. But the fact is, that's part of trading. You still should have way more winners than losers. And if you're trading and have way more losers than winners, that's a problem. And don't kid yourself. If you're taking trades and scalping, you're like, well, I have more winners. But if you look at your P&L, you're down. No. You can't take a trade and make a couple of pennies and get out and scalp it and then take full losses and things. That's not going to get you anywhere. You say, well, I have 10 winners and I only have 3 losses, but you're down. That's a problem. That means you're not doing something right. Thomas, you know that. Thomas, you're trading with me. You know that. You've been with me a year now. Joe said good. Okay. Anyways, this was a big one. This was a big one. Let's talk about the SPY. 590 calls. Again, did it right after the open. Just a smidgen after. Again, let's look at the chart. So this was the 6. Stock closed here, gapped up, dropped, rallied, boom. Boom, do-do-doom, boom, boom. And again, I get out of this, I could have held it, I could have made more, it went up to 600, dream target was 600, it went there. I was out of it before it went there. So I could have made more in this trade. I thought this was pretty well priced. $5 for a SPY contract, I thought was pretty good. Sold at 9, again, 80%, that's a good trade. Close enough. Try to get to, this actually, if you held it, was worth over 100. I just got out of it. I actually went to visit family in Pennsylvania on the Friday, and I didn't want to be dealing with watching trades. But you could have held this, and you could have held it. So you could have held this till Monday, and you could have held this till Friday, and you could have made more. Again, you're not always going to get the piggy target and everything, or you're not always going to get the piggy exit and everything. The idea is to make money. And you got to find a balance between scalping, where you take a trade that costs $7 and get out at 8 or 9. That's not like a trade that I would do. I don't think that's a good trade. You got to find a balance between piggy targets holding too long and then getting out too quick. When do I send out the email with the options in it? Most trades are sent before the open. Like if you go back and look at all these. But every once in a blue moon, I'll call out something later in the day. I actually called a trade yesterday, which is very, 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 very rare, 20 minutes before the close. But if you didn't get it, you could have done it this morning and gotten paid a less price for it, actually. But I saw something yesterday in a chart, and I said, that's it, I want to do it. And if the market hadn't been down today, that would have been up. I think that would have been up a lot this morning. But because the market was down overnight, then the trade, you would have gotten a better price doing it today. But it's neither here nor there. Because the fact is that the trade went today for everybody, no matter what they paid. You're averaging Thomas says he's averaging 5,000 to 8,000 per option trade, but always seem to buy the option in 2 trades. What do you mean 2 trades? You get in first and it usually drops to average in with the remaining contracts. Well, that's fine. That's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you feel good about doing that, then fine. I think, so Thomas is trading and he's doing well. If you want to buy it, and I'm just making this up here. So in this case here, say I had called it early. What time did I get this out? Yeah, it was not early. So like if I had called this at 8:30 in the morning and you did it right out of the gate, you would have gotten a better price here. But let's say you didn't do that and it just went boom, then at least you're in it, basically, because then you wouldn't miss it. So I think that's okay, Thomas. And then if you do 1-on-1 and you don't add any more, then you don't do any more. Because what you don't want to do is not do it at all, and then it goes. So I think that's fine. So that was a good solid trade. Again, it went up to 600, the dream target. This was one of the nicest trades that we did, and I know not everybody did it. They didn't see it, which is a shame. I did call this late, and it wasn't too late, though. We did the Netflix 775 calls. It expired last Friday, Wednesday, day after the election. Gorgeous trade. Again, here it is. Snug as a bug. Stock close here, gapped up. Boom. Again, this is insane. Completely insane. So this was a trade that I called last night, actually 20 minutes before the close. Thomas, did you do this? Tron is on the letter 2. Did you do this? The new Netflix that I called, it went today. Thomas, you didn't do it. Oh, my Lanta, why? Cost was $10, 9 contracts, risk was $9,000, sold at 62, 520% return on investment. I think this was the best trade last week. And hardly anyone was talking about it. The profit was $46,800. This is a perfect example. A classic mistake that many day traders, active traders, retail traders want to do things that don't make sense whatsoever at all. They want to wait for pullbacks. They want to do all kinds of crazy things, do the reversals, and they miss the trade. So again, this stock flew like the dickens from the day that I called it on the 6th and went up like crazy birds. And actually, you would have still been up even if you had a crappy exit the last day. If you held it the last day, I don't know why you would have. It was so far in the money. But it ran up over 8:30 on the 14th. But even here, even if you waited the last day to get out of it, you still were out of it over 8:30. Oh, you had to go out of town. All right, well, you just missed it then. You just missed it. Joe has a question. Joe, Liz, is there a place where we can see any positive reviews from the clients you've gotten the course? You've been trading since 2008, and yet you haven't found any reviews of you so far. I can refer you to a customer. I don't know what else I can do with that, Joe. If you want to talk to someone. You've spent thousands over the years on many trading systems that never delivered, so it's difficult to make a decision without seeing reviews from past current clients. One thing I will say is that usually with people, again, if people are willing to talk to customers and someone wants a referral, I'm happy to ask a customer if they want to talk to someone. That's fine. what you're going to get from that, I don't really know, because I'm not sure if that's really going to help you make a decision, Joe. I think maybe you're not ready to spend the money, because I know that you were going to come to the class in New York and then you didn't come. And the class in New York was more than the class online. And then you didn't do the October class, which was online. So I think you're not ready to invest the money yet. I'm happy to have people continue to follow me for as long as I trade, and as long as I teach a class. But I know for a fact that eventually I will retire, and retire early, and people will miss an opportunity to learn what I know. So I'm not going to work till I'm 60. I think it's something that I think it's a shame, because I think some people will miss out. And Joe, you've already missed out because you didn't trade the last month with us. You're afraid of spending the money. And it's just as simple as that. And if I sent you 30 clients and you talked to them all, I don't think it would help you make a decision. So I think you're not ready to spend the money because you're too afraid that you're going to lose, because you've spent money in other classes. So, I mean, I will say that there's probably more crappy classes out there than good classes. But that's the same in anything. If you were trying to find someone that was anything to do, or any trade, even in the market, like I just told you, I really wasn't crazy about anything this morning. There's thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of stocks, even that were gapping this morning. And I really wasn't crazy about anything. Narrowing down the right thing is, what it takes. So you either narrow it down or you don't. Doing lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of different classes is not going to get you where you need to be. So you said, well, I've spent $50,000 on classes over the course of 20 years. You say, okay, fine. But you didn't find the right one. So again, I talked about this earlier. I think you were here, Joe. Some people came in late. I'm a very, very intuitive person. Like if I go and I hire someone to go do something, like I'm very intuitive, where I can tell if this is someone that I want to pay for something when I hire someone for my services, whether it's for myself personally, or here, I'll give you a story. This is a good story. A hairdresser. Well, I don't do that YK. I don't do anything with flag patterns. If you want a referral, Joe, that's fine, but I don't think that's going to help you make the decide to take the class. So you can email me. I'll see if someone's willing to talk to you, but I don't think that's going to help you, because the cost of the class is what it is, and you've been following me for quite a while. But you have to believe that what I'm doing works. If you're on the fence and you're not sure, you're not ready. You're not ready. There's no amount of money that it should, like, again, let's say I charged $100,000 for my class. Would you say that's too much? What if you learn how to trade? You can use it for the rest of your life, and you can get trades like this. For me, it's not too much. So at the end of the day, you learn something that you can use forever. It's no amount is too much when people are trading every day and they're losing. So it's the fact that people just flat out, full on, have taken bad classes, crappy classes, and paid for crappy subscriptions, and therefore then they don't think anything's going to work. And if that's where your mindset is, if you talk to 100 people, it wouldn't change your mind, because in your mind, you're questioning if anything works. My suggestion to you is, Joe, that maybe you need to trade the market yourself and develop your own system. That's maybe then what you should do. You teach yourself something that you then will believe in yourself works. Anyways, getting back to what I was saying about trust and intuition. So I've had bad haircut after bad haircut after bad haircut ever since COVID. And I have beautiful, gorgeous hair. I mean, if you've seen me on TV, I have hair like out like to here. And my hair grows really fast, like double the time that normal people's hair grows. And I cannot find a good hairdresser to save my life. And I'm just like, and you would not believe what people charge. $600 for a haircut, $400 for a haircut. Crazy. I'm willing to pay it. I'll pay anything to find a good person. So now what I've been doing is I'm going and I'm getting like a consultation. I'm meeting with people, and some of them charge for a consultation. I'd rather pay for a consultation rather than them screw up my hair, take a scissors to my hair and screw it up, and then I gotta wait 6 months for it to grow back. So now I'm going and getting consultations with people. Let me just sit down and talk to you and see if this is like, if you're the right person for me. Anyways, long story short, I found a girl, went to the consultation. She actually didn't charge me for the consultation. Went for the first haircut. She didn't do anything crazy. Like, she didn't screw anything up. But she didn't really go in and, like, shape my hair. Like, I need a good haircut. It needs to be layered, shaped, the whole 9 yards, my bangs. And then I came home and I'm like, okay, I think, like, I really liked her. Like, I really, really liked her. And I went to her and I paid her. And it was $400. But I didn't feel like she really did anything different. And then I went back and I said, listen, I really like you and I'm going to come back, but this is what I want. I'm showing her pictures and she's like, you seemed so nervous about me cutting your hair, she said. I didn't want to do anything, to like, I didn't want to do anything crazy, she said. This was like our first date kind of thing where you're going to a person you don't know. And I laughed and I said, okay, I'm going to come back. I usually give people 2 shots, two cuts, like, to see. I'm going to go back. And I was trying to decide actually this morning. I'm like, she could cut it now. But I'm like, maybe I'll wait till before Christmas. So I think I'm going to go in December. I don't think I'm going to go next week for Thanksgiving. And I'm going to just close my eyes and let her do it. And that's kind of like the trust that you have to have if you pay someone to do a class and you go and you learn the system. Like, you have to trust that this person knows what they're doing. And you don't know. And there's no guarantees. And you don't know. And you just have to kind of trust. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're not ready for my program. And it doesn't matter how many people you talk to, because no one's going to talk you into trusting me. You have to decide yourself if you're ready to take the risk and take the chance and get over the hump and get over the fear, of doing it, basically. Anyways, my intuition said this girl, I liked her, and I do like her, so I'm going to go back to her, and I think she's going to do a good job, and she's actually going to cut it. Anyways, I got off on a tangent there. I'm a doll. Thank you, Thomas. But I haven't had a good hairdresser I'm like ready to cut my own hair. I can't find a good hairdresser. I'm in New York City. This is nuts. There's should be good hairdressers all over the place. But again, just like trading educational systems, there isn't good hairdressers all over the place. There just isn't. Just like there isn't a lot of good trading educational places. And I hear people talk on these series of lectures that I go and participate. And I'd never pay any of them a dime myself. But luckily I don't have to, you know what I mean? Because I figured it out. But figuring something out on your own is a long road. But then you would know yourself and you trust yourself. But like I said, I think a lot of people just don't trust themselves. I think people trust me, and they trust I know what I'm talking about. They trust even that my system works, but they don't trust themselves. And that is something that the only solution for that is going over time of a series of days and weeks where you are green, and it doesn't matter if it's even a little bit of money, like a week like this, which I didn't finish going over yet, but having a series of days and weeks where you can prove to yourself that you can do it. Because once you've been down the rabbit hole where you've been losing for a while, you do lose confidence in yourself. And the only way you're going to turn that around is trusting someone that knows what they're talking about, which isn't you, signing up for a class and taking the trades blindly until you learn it, and then, you know, building your account up, even if it's step by step by step, and saying, oh, wow, you can make money trading. You can make money in the market. Kind of talking yourself back into it, the reason that you started trading to begin with. Are most of the trades 1 to 2 days? In an ideal world, okay, in an ideal world, most trades go within 24 to 48 hours. Yes. Are there sometimes I take a trade that the trade does not work in 24 to 48 hours? Yes. And I don't kill it, and it could go the last day, and I might be down in it, so then what am I saving? So I hold it. Anyways, David. But that will be your personal decision. Joe, I don't think you've ever traded stocks. You've been talking a lot about futures and eating mini futures, and that's what you were talking about when we first started talking. So stocks would definitely be something different for you. You did find someone who was the real deal. You did get some amazing trades at the beginning. I guess this was with futures when you first started trading, but then the COVID lockdowns, and so you had to stop trading due to having to care for a relative. And unfortunately, they no longer have subscriptions. Okay. Well, either way, that's not available to you anymore. So, again, that is the importance of learning, though. Don't you understand? And like I just said like 15 minutes ago, what if I retire tomorrow? I run off and meet a billionaire. Just live in New York and walk in the park every day and shop. What are you going to do? Everybody that is trading with me in the room, including the people here, Thomas is one of them, he knows what to do. They did the class, they know what to do. And they could survive without me. If you don't do the class and you don't know what to do, and you just sign up for a subscription, what are you going to do then when I retire? So you got to learn it. And it's something that you can learn. In fact, Tron, are you here? I know, Tron, you said you were in and out with work. Tron, I know you're trading options and I know you're making money, but you haven't done the class and you need to do the class in 2025, Tron. If you're listening to me, you need to do it. There's something else I was going to say. We're talking about hairdressers, trading places. The best thing I can tell you about other systems and education and trying to make decisions of people that follow me is that you have to listen to the things that I'm saying. And we live in a world where everyone's rush. And again, we're here talking for an hour, and I don't even know if everyone's listening to everything I'm saying. But again, you can watch this back if I post it on YouTube. You can listen to it later. Everyone is rush. And a lot of times I say things that if you listen to actually what I said, you'd be like, oh my God, she was right about that thing. And I think a lot of people don't really listen to what I say. So again, I get that the world is, everybody wants everything yesterday and everybody's rush. But if you stop and just get quiet and centered and listen and spend like a couple of hours on a Saturday morning or a Sunday and watch some of my videos and watch the trading room and actually listen to some of my webinars and go back 5 years from now or 10 years. Gosh, I have YouTube videos since 2012 now on YouTube. This is something that I've been doing for a very long time. And I think everybody's too rushy. And then it's like I'm going to use another example and then I'm going to get back to talking here, but I've gotten into birding in Central Park. I like to watch the animals. If you are not paying attention, like if people are on their phone in the park all the time, I can't stand it when people are on their phone in the park and they're so loud on their phone. And I'm trying to look for a frog or a bird or something. These people aren't even paying attention to the beautiful Central Park and all the animals around them. They're on their phone in the morning. This is like at 6 o'clock in the morning. If you don't pay attention, you're going to miss some fabulous, beautiful bird or animal that's right there in front of you if you're not paying attention. And it's very much like that with trying to find trading educators. And actually, it's like that about trying to find trades. I'm trying to find one thing in the morning. And sometimes when I'm trying to narrow it down, it's just one thing. One just thing that comes right out at me. And I said, that's it, we're doing it. Or I say, no, we're not doing it. You know what I'm saying? And it's that quietness that you need to have, that extreme focus that you need to make money in the market. And again, it's just like trying to find a bird. Yesterday, I took a walk in the park. It was freezing, and I saw a hawk flying. And he flew right over me, and I said, I'm going to go see where that hawk went. And I literally turned the corner, and he was sitting right there on the tree, low. I didn't post the video yet. Low in a branch. There he was, big as life. And if I hadn't been looking up, I wouldn't have seen it. If I had been looking down or on my phone or whatever, or distracted, I looked into the sky, I saw the hawk, then I got to see him, and it was beautiful. Beautiful. And like a million people walked by me and didn't even notice the hawk. Anyways, let's get back to trades. Okay, so this was a good one. And some people didn't do it because it was expensive, but it was a nice trade. If I call a trade, you could say, Melissa, if I do the 800 calls. I said, fine, yeah, do it. So ask me if you're like, this is a little bit out of my price point. That's fine too. Then we did the Amazon 210 calls. Again, this continued. This was a 15th expiration. This was before the open on the Thursday here. So again, called the 210s. Again, got the pop. Ran up over 215. Again, momentum. Here's an example. Someone asked, what if it goes the day or whatever? So if you had done this trade here, theoretically, could you have gotten out of it in 24 hours with positive money? Yes. But the profit was really holding it to here. So again, that's what I did. Now, if you just wanted to get out of this here, you could have and you would have made money. But this was more money. Actually, you could have even held it here. Anyways, 118% return on investment. Nice trade. Again, that was pretty cheap. $275, sold at $6. Then we did Tesla. This was a bust. So this one didn't work. We did the Tesla 350 calls. This was Monday. And so that was here. Actually, I was up in this trade, but I didn't get out of it. I wasn't up enough to get out of it. And then it fell. That was last week. So this fell and completely went bust for me. And then we did the IBM 210s. Again, I'm going to after this again, even though we lost in the first two earlier in the week. But this did go. We did it Tuesday, and then it fell. We did a higher strike. This was here. Stock closed here, gap down, and it was a nice one. And again, if you held this the last day, it was more money, but I didn't hold that the last day. It was 250% return on investment, a nice trade. So again, here are the stats. It doesn't matter how many contracts you took. You should have, if you wanted to do all these trades, you should have had a positive week. You should have had a very good week. Again, I tell people to size down so they can do multiple trades. Because if you're like, oh, I'm going to just risk this much money and do one trade, well, then you miss the rest of the week. And then you're stuck in one trade. And if you're stuck in one trade that's down and you didn't do any of the other 10 trades, then you miss a huge week. So I'd rather see people take less risk, and it's an active letter, and do the trades. Any questions about anything I just talked about besides the stories? You agree when it comes to learning for yourself and how to be making consistent trades? Good. You did learn a couple techniques, but unfortunately, not the whole trading methodology due to reasons you had to take a break. Well, again, you're going to learn my whole system in 2 days. So there's no taking a break. I mean, the class is 9 to 5 Eastern Time, Saturday and Sunday. So you're going to learn it in 2 days. And I don't have anything like lifetime membership because I just got done telling you that at some point I'm going to retire. So I'm not going to tell people that I have a lifetime membership. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. I'm not going to tell people that. And again, I give so much support for people that, like, people get their money's worth with me. Not just the class, I get support. I have people that have taken the class and then they quit. He said, well, why would anyone quit? Why don't you have everybody since the beginning of time? Well, some people, like if they had done any one of the trades in here of the 3 trades that lost, will take a trade and they lose. They will never take another trade. Even if they did the class, even if they paid the price of the class, if they do one trade that loses, they will never take another trade. They will never come back to the room. You say, well, that's crazy. And you know what? It is crazy. But I've been doing this a long time, and I'm telling you, I've seen that. I've seen that. I've also seen people come and go. I've been in business long enough now. People trade, leave, come back. I've had that happen actually quite a bit in the last, I'd say, 12 to 16 months. I've had people come back that have been away from me for a long time, and they come back. Again, sometimes it's timing. They're going through a divorce, or they're, sick, or jobs, whatever. Sometimes you can't focus on what's going on, and then you kind of go off and on a tangent. You think you're going to do less size and do more trades. Well, that's fine. If I retire at 59, I have 25 years to go. Not quite. But I certainly plan on retiring before I'm 59. 2 or 3 options instead of just one. Yeah. Or you're only doing one trade at a time, Thomas. I did not know that. Yeah, I mean, again, it's whatever you're comfortable with. Some people are not comfortable holding overnight. Well, they missed out on a huge week here. Again, while a lot of these trades that went were right the day that I called them, whether it was the 6th or the 7th. But I mean, that was the point when I was starting to talk at the beginning where I really think the benefit is holding overnight. You only have a fixed risk. If you risk 20 grand, you can't lose any more than that, even if it totally reverses. If you risk $500, you can't lose any more than that, even if it totally reverses. And that really is the benefit. And I'm telling you, we're in a new era. Things are totally different since the election. You can feel it in the market. You can feel it. I mean, we're feeling it trading. I mean, again, for the people that are here that are trading with me. Anyways, the focus has to be on making money. And I think this is one of the reasons why I'm a good person to follow. I don't like to lose. I mean, even if you're in the room with me and you hear me sometimes, I get frustrated if we have to take a loss. I'm frustrated. I try to do another trade and come back. I don't like to lose. I like to win. So my results, again, your results should mirror my results. But if your risk is different, that's a different story. If you're not doing all the trades, figure out if you can. And again, if you're growing your account, if you have a small account and you have a 5,000, you grow it to 10 and 10 to 20 and so on and so forth, those are good goals to have. Again, we were talking about having goals for 2025. Anyways, like I was saying, the larger benefit is truly learning the system so that you can use it for the rest of your life. Don't forget your longer term goals. Many traders get caught up in the past. You must live in the present moment and keep your eye on the future. If you're focused on trades that you took in the past that you lost money, or classes that you took in the past where you lost money, then you're not living in the now. There's nothing that you can do to change anything that happened in the past. You can only move forward. As soon as you're willing to let that go, you're going to be better off. It's going to be healthier for you, whether you take my class or decide not to take my class. You will be healthier and in a better space to trade if you let the past go. Because holding on to that baggage is like holding on to a bad relationship if you got a divorce or something. I mean, how can you meet somebody new and fall in love? Do you have to be in the trade room all day? No. If you're there, I'm not there, Lou. I close the trade room early in the morning. The trade room is only open usually about a half an hour, 45 minutes a day. If we're done in 15 minutes, I might close the room at 9:45. No, it's not open all day long. We're trading very quick and early in the morning for the day trades in the room. The room is margin trades, which I'm calling the trades live, in and out, and the stop and the options. We're not sitting there all day waiting for them to go. You put the trade on when I send it out into the open. Most of them, like I said, are in the morning, and you let it ride. And if you can't watch it, you put a sell order to sell it at whatever amount you feel comfortable. I would put it at 100% and see if it hits the first day. And then I would check it like at lunch. But no, the room closes usually by 10 o'clock, 10:15. Anyways, the system I do and I created and I teach and I trade every day now for, it's almost 17 years. It's crazy. It's almost 2025. 2025 will be 17 years I'm trading. So I'm now actually trading longer than I've did my last career mortgages. That's crazy, isn't it? I gotta tell my mom and dad that. The Golden Gap system is a 26-point professional bearish gap rating system. The purpose of this system is to help you evaluate which gap to trade each morning using a checklist. This checklist tells you what to trade, when, and in what direction. The 26-point checklist predicts the directional bias in a stop. And this is why it's so important to learn the system. Not just talking about me retiring and things like that. This is like you want to learn it because you're the one doing the trade. You're putting your own money up when you're risking your money in the trade. You want to believe that the trade's going to work. And if you understand why I called a put in IBM or why I called a call in Netflix after it ran up 17 days in a row, I'm still calling calls. You're like, wait a minute, I don't even understand what she's doing here. If you did the class, you will understand. And that will help you take the trade and you won't miss it. And it might help you hold it. So again, understanding is key. We're human beings and we're very inquisitive. I don't care who you are or how many years you've been trading or if you're brand new. Human beings in general are very curious, inquisitive people. We have curious, inquisitive minds. We want to know why. Why did Trump win? Why did Harris lose? Why are interest rates so high? Do you know what I'm saying? People want explanations and they want answers. Why did this stock keep going up? Why did we rally today? We opened down. Why did we rally? There's a war in Ukraine, missiles. People want answers. And you get them in the rating. And if the rating's there or not. Now, why it's gapping is a whole different story. We don't focus on that. But the rating tells you, and it's in the chart. You have a lifetime membership for the other place. But if you wanted to follow the trading room, there were members that would go on their own. It was mostly for beginners. Well, my room is new people, but there's a lot of people that have been with me actually for more than 10 years now. They're still in the room. They don't have to be. They like me and they like the room and they like being there. I actually had a guy that's renewing for 2025. Actually, he's going to do the class again. He's going to do the bundle. The Black Friday special. He's going to do all the classes again, and he's renewing the room and the options. And he called me Friday, and he's done the class now. I think this will be his third time. He's been with me for 3 years. He said he's never seen anyone as good as me, and I'm the perfect person to do this. And it was a really, really nice conversation. I wish I had tape recorded it. It would have been a great testimonial. You know, it's just he is looking to retire soon. He's still working. So he's kind of like juggling trading in the morning when he can, and he's selling his business, and he's going to retire in 2025. So he started before he wanted to retire. I think if you're retired now, obviously you have a lot of time. You can focus on it. You're lucky. But the caveat with people that are retired is when people are retired, they're on a fixed income, and they're more, you know, not as inclined to necessarily spend money on something. So it's a catch-22. People that are young and working or still working and near retirement have no problem spending the money for the class, and then they trade when they can. And if people are retired and they are living on a fixed income, then they question the price and are like, I don't know if I should do this. Let me try a cheaper thing. And then they lose and that doesn't work. And the worst thing about some of these programs for people, and I don't know, like what do people think they're going to learn with a $500, $1,000 class? And then they take bad trades and then they lose way more than the cost of the cheap class. Once you learn, there's really no need to follow anyone else's trade recommendations. That's true. Unless you like to just get the confirmation from me. So I think that what people enjoy that know what to do that are in the room. I don't know, Thomas, you're here. You're in the room. You did the class. I don't remember if you did it last year. I think you did it last year, Thomas. I think people like being in the room for the confirmation. They say, I like this. And then if they get in the room and I say, I like it, it's just that extra that gives them the confirmation that makes them feel better about doing the trade. It's like a double, triple check, I guess. You know, I don't know. It's something I'll ask the room. But in my opinion, that's probably what it is. Anyways, my process is I get up in the morning and I rate the gap. And I rate the gap using a checklist. This checklist helps me choose what stock to pick every day. And while there are thousands of stocks every day, even the ones that gap, the fact is that there is, again, very few things that are going to go exactly the way that you want. Go to the target, have the fast move, have the momentum, have the setup, and everything else like that. And you really don't want to have to worry about the market because the market's all over the place. The market's still very volatile. Like I said, the market opened down today. The market gapped down today. We did not short it. We did not short it. I said this market's going to rally. I don't believe this falls. And everyone was talking in the room about the Ukraine thing. And again, the market didn't care. It just didn't care. Again, I'm not saying the market's never going to care, but today it certainly did not. Anyways, the class is called the Golden Gap Course, and it is December 7th and 8th, the last class of the year, 9 to 5. It's a class on how to find, pick, and play professional bearish gaps. Class tuition is $69.99. The class is online. Again, you can be anywhere in the world and take it. So the Golden Gap Course bundle is 3 classes, which is normally $89.99. The trends, the options, and the 2-day class where you learn the entries, the exits, and the 26 points. These are the last classes for the year. The Black Friday special I'm doing is an options package and a class package, which depends what you want to do. Again, some people just want to do options or can't be in the room. Some people want to be in the room. This is something where it's an investment, like I said, in yourself. Normally the option subscription for 12 months is $69.99 and for 6 months is $49.99. the Black Friday sales I'm doing are as follows. These are going on through November 30th. So you have till then to decide, or if you know you want to sign up, you can sign up this week and start trading with us. We have some big earnings this week. So I do think we're going to have actually an active week, even though it's right before the holiday here, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'm doing 1,000 off the bundle. Normally $89.99. It's $79.99 for Black Friday. And you get 3 classes then, and then 3 subscriptions free to the end of 2025. That is enough support system that you shouldn't need me after that. And if you want to stay, again, Thomas is renewing. He's here. If you want to stay, it's up to you. It's up to you. If you want to stay, if you think the room is valuable and the options newsletter is valuable, getting my trade ideas on top of what you know, then you would sign up again and renew in January 2026. So this is going on through 11/30. And then I am doing the special for the newsletter, 1,000 off. And then you get the options class and trends class free. And this is $59.99. And you get the bonus time of the letter till the end of 2025. And you would just get the options. This is not in the room. And this is not the Golden Gap course, which is 7th and 8th. Any questions from anyone? There's something else I was going to say and I just forgot. You don't know stuff in the world until you do it. You just don't know. Like, again, I didn't really get the haircut that I wanted from that lady because she was like trying to just ease me into it. Like, I'm not going to know if I really like her haircut till she does it. And I cross my fingers I do. But it's like, you don't know until you do it. That's life. That's life. I mean, it is what it is. But the best thing you have going for yourself is to trust yourself and listen to your intuition. And you must be quiet to hear what your brain says, what your heart says, and what you truly want to do. You know, I think trading is something that anyone could do. Theoretically, they could learn it and do it. But it's probably not for everyone. Some people really are just too afraid to risk their money. They've worked hard for it. They're too scared to trade. And they just don't want to risk it. But then you don't get the benefit of working from home and making, thousands and thousands of dollars in a few minutes or even in a week. You don't get the benefit. For every, again, risk to reward, you must weigh the options. If you're not willing to take risk, you will not get the reward. So whether this is something that you want to do, whether you want to work from home or work for yourself, it's up to you. I think, though, 2025 is going to be a really kind of like a lightning bolt for a lot of people because many corporations now are making people come back to the office in 2025, starting January. And a lot of people are not happy about it, not happy, not ready. And they're finding that people are not everyone, this is just, I'm generalizing here, but corporations have decided that a lot of people are not giving it their all working from home. So they're making people go back to work. And people are going to be unhappy with that. So the lifestyle associated with this is, again, something that is, again, if you're not retired and you want to trade, it's definitely worth it. Those are what is known as lazy bums. Well, I will tell you one quick story here. Last story. I have a person, this is a friend, he's a manager for an insurance company. And they have people working from home. They're tracking the keyboard strokes now to see who's really working. Like, people are logging in, acting like they're working, but they're really not working. Like, how they're tracking the keystrokes and stuff like that, I don't even know. Anyway, some guy was basically, they were noticing it, like he was sort of like they weren't seeing the production from this one agent. Anyways, some insurance claim came across the desk and it was a different company and this person's name was on it. So lo and behold, they found out that this guy had 2 jobs, which is completely illegal because when you're an insurance person, you have to have a license. So this person was working from home without the knowledge of either of the agencies for 2 different agencies, and like a dumbass, He was on a claim for the one agency he worked for. Well, they fired him immediately. Well, the boss confronted him, and he copped to it, obviously. And he said, well, he needed the money, and like he was trying to get away with something by working 2 jobs and collecting 2 paychecks and like half-assing it. Anyways, they're suing the guy for like back pay for like a year and a half. They're suing the insurance company that hired him for not doing the due diligence to check where he worked for before. And he's losing his insurance license. So like his whole career went up and bust. Can you believe it? And I've heard other stories that kind of thing is going on. Not with, with things that require licenses, but like people basically trying to get away with collecting 2-3 paychecks, working from home, but really not working, 40 hours a week or whatever the job. Isn't that crazy? So that's that. Any questions from anyone about anything at all? So again, Thanksgiving's next week. We're here this week and we're trading. The Black Friday specials are going on through Saturday, which is the day after Black Friday. If you want to sign up this week, you can sign up this week and start trading with us. If you sign up by Black Friday, you'd still be in and trading before the class, which is the 7th and 8th. So you'd be in for, 2 weeks or whatever. Any questions from any old people, new people? Last class of the year. Ed, I've seen you before. I don't know how long you've been following me, Ed. Some of you have not joined, but I recognize you, but I don't know how long you've been following me. I will do my best. I have to update that first trade, fix it. It was the same strike. It was just 11:15. And then I will do a beginner to show one contract. But again, you would have had to do 11 trades. So again, or smaller risk to show people. Again, I really think it's better for people to be able to be active. So to do less risk, unless you can afford it. If you can afford to do all the trades and take more risk, do it. Ed's been following me for a year. Are you trading, Ed, or you're just trying to decide if you want to trade? You're trading and doing good. Well, then you don't need my class. If you're doing good, you don't need my class. If you're making money, continue doing what you're doing. If you're not, or you're not making as much, that's when you need to have a good program. Learning is good, and making money is even better. All right, I will see everybody when I see you. Happy Thanksgiving. If you have any questions, email me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. You're welcome.